I think that our work has had a profound effect on perceptions of capital punishment by everyone in the United States and, frankly, across the world. It's just extraordinary. Nobody ever believed that there was this great a risk of convicting an innocent person, much less executing them. And now the risk of wrongful conviction and execution has been established as much higher than anybody believed. And the debate now about capital punishment in the United States has changed. It's not just a moral issue for people, because reasonable people can differ as to whether the death penalty is a morally appropriate sanction for the most heinous of crimes. But nobody believes that you ought to execute an innocent person. That's a non-starter as a moral question. And now we know that that's a significant risk, so that's point one. Point two, and the National Academy of Sciences just recently produced another report on this, there's no sound proof that this deters. Capital punishment does not deter. Just take the state of California. In the state of California, it takes 26 years between a death sentence and an execution. They've had very few executions in the state. Most people die of old age in prisons. Now, how does that help family members of a murder victim who want closure, if you believe that it really does bring closure? Some do, some don't. But 26 years? If you believe it deters, although the evidence is clear it doesn't, how do you get deterrence if it takes 26 years? Even if you're one of those people that believes in retribution, it's a morally appropriate sanction, if it's not instituted for 26 years, it's not achieving anybody's purpose. And it's also incredibly expensive. So in the state of California, they estimate over the next 5 years it would cost them $1 billion to continue with the death penalty. So we now have on the ballot in the state of California a referendum to repeal capital punishment in that state. And you know, the campaign is led by Jeannie Whitford, who was the warden at San Quentin, who presided over executions, who was once head of the Department of Corrections in the state of California. The individual who brought the referendum years ago was the sponsor of it, now says it was a terrible mistake. You know, capital punishment judges are saying this system is broken, you should support the referendum and repeal it. Just in the last 5 years, state after state, the state legislatures have said, look, it's not an issue of whether you think capital punishment is a morally appropriate sanction, because if you do public opinion polling, 65% of the people believe that. 35% believe it's immoral for the state to kill. But where people are coming together now is the punishment of life without the possibility of parole versus the death penalty. And then all of a sudden the public opinion polling, it's about 50-50. And then if you add in, as in California, the incredible expense of this, and you begin to realize if we put all our money into this capital punishment system that doesn't deter, that can't get things right, that has a risk of executing the innocent, and then you take that money, that criminal justice dollar, and you put it into so many of our innocence reforms, for example, that not only protect the innocent but help law enforcement catch the guilty, whether it's better forensic science or eyewitness reform or videotaping interrogations. We're safer spending that money on these other pursuits rather than on the death penalty, which is so problematic. But if that happens in California, after you have this whole trend of 5 states in 5 years, and then California, there are a number of other states that are on the verge. The governor of Oregon has said he thinks the system is broken. He won't execute anybody. So there's quite a few states that I think are in play. And if you get up to 10, 11, you can't just have the death penalty for a few states that are the ones that do the most executions, for Texas or Virginia. You just can't have it for just a few states. And I think under those circumstances, the United States Supreme Court will invalidate it under the 8th Amendment. Subscribe to THNKR.